Greetings, and welcome to the Reparenting Daily podcast. In this podcast, we'll dive deep into reparenting, exploring all of the tools and resources that you'll need to help you along your journey. This podcast is divided into 3 sections. First is a daily reading. Second is a discussion on the reading, followed by journal prompts. And the last section is a peaceful meditation for closing. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from whenever and wherever you're joining us. Thanks for being here for another day of reparenting. I much appreciate your presence and your continued support. If you could go ahead and give us a like, share, subscribe, and follow wherever you're listening, that would be greatly appreciated so that we can help others find the podcast and also to join our community. If you can also give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast and Spotify Podcast, that would be greatly appreciated. Those are the 2 biggest platforms for this podcast. So yeah, all of your help and support there would be greatly appreciated. Just as a reminder, also, we have now a Reparenting Daily community that you can join via the Patreon. It is either $10 or $20 per month, depending on if you're a student or a normal adult. If you need assistance, a reduction or something, you can also contact me and ask for that if you're having financial difficulties. But the goal here is to create a place where we will have twice weekly Zoom meetings to discuss reparenting. One meeting will be a book club. We will read through some text and just to create a community and open space where we can come to connect and to support each other on our reparenting journey, to bring the missing knowledge, to bring the missing emotional experiences, and everything else that we need to help us in this open, safe, and non-judgmental community that's dedicated for your reparenting. In addition to that, if you join the Patreon, you'll also gain early access to the Lessons for Reparenting Daily podcast. So those will be released bi-weekly, but if you join the Patreon, you'll be gaining access to those earlier. So go ahead and check that out as well. And that's it. So let's go ahead and get over to the reading, guys. Today's reading is again coming from the Ching, as we take some time to go back to this excellent text. And this one is coming from Hexagram number 45, and it's called Gathering Together. To lead others towards a good, one must purify one's own character. The I Ching teaches that the world cannot move towards harmony and well-being unless human beings act in unison to further what is good and true. Our power as individuals is multiplied when we gather together as families, groups, and communities with common goals. It is our collective strength that makes positive change possible in the world. However, the tremendous power of the human collective must be directed by a qualified leader. The Hexagram Tsui, which is the Gathering Together 45, the one we're reading, and I apologize for my poor Mandarin pronunciation, encourages you to develop your character into that of a leader. Before a person may gather others together to achieve good, he must first gather together within himself proper principles. A leader who is not balanced and collected within himself will always be suspected by his followers, and in the hour when he needs them most, they will hesitate. Therefore, the first task of a potential leader is to accumulate in his own character all that is good and true and correct. In a very real sense, the progress of the world depends upon your progress as an individual now. Concentrate then on examining and correcting your thoughts, attitudes, and actions, improving yourself into the kind of person you yourself would follow wholeheartedly and without hesitation. Learn to accept that the natural process occurs when you act in harmony with proper principles. Seek no progress at the expense of those principles. Train yourself to avoid misfortunes by anticipating them in advance. By purifying your character in this way and clinging steadfastly to higher things, you lead yourself and others towards well-being and good fortune. The first line: Those who hesitate in what is correct lose the way. Do not allow your ego to become aroused now. Stay centered in humility, acceptance, and innocence, and you will be met with success now. The second line, allow yourself to be guided by inner truth. Those who belong together will come together naturally. Be sincere and let the creative do the work. Third line, one who is humiliated and isolated would like to reunite. Generosity, tolerance, and reliance on the sage heal all wounds in time. Fourth line, if you work for the good unselfishly now, you will be overrun with success and good fortune. Fifth line, some who gather together may not be sincere about doing what's right. Do not become engaged with inferior influences. The way to bring others into unison is to steadily improve yourself. Line 6, genuine progress is only made if we are sincere in our devotion to the sage. There will be cause for lament if we are not. Thank you, and that's the reading for today. Welcome back. Okay, we're now looking at the Ching Hexagram 45. Gathering together. This focuses on unity, connection, and a shared sense of purpose. In the context of reparenting, this is really important because this reading emphasizes the importance of reconnecting with different parts of yourself, including your inner child, to create a sense of emotional wholeness and belonging. Some points that relate or correspond to reparenting from the Hexagram 45, which is called and titled Gathering Together. So the first is gathering and integration. This encourages bringing all parts of yourself together, your past experiences, emotions, and inner child, into a unified whole for healing. Number 2 is emotional community. Highlights the importance of emotional connection, either with yourself or others, reminding you that healing can involve both self-supportive and reaching out for help. Number 3, alignment with inner needs. Reparenting requires tuning into and aligning with your true emotional needs, just as Hexagram 45 suggests aligning with a shared goal or purpose. The next is vulnerability and support. This invites you to be vulnerable and gathering support from others or yourself, which is key in reparenting yourself to heal from the unmet childhood needs and emotional hurts. And lastly is the importance of creating a safe space. To creating that sense of belonging and togetherness emotionally, you need to create an internal environment where your inner child feels safe and heard, fostering emotional integration and self-compassion. As we reflect this episode on how to leverage the Hexagram 45 for reparenting, think about these journal prompts. What parts of myself need to come together in harmony for me to feel more whole? How can I create a safe internal space where my child feels supported and heard? Who or what can I gather around me to support my reparenting process? What emotional needs have I been ignoring, and how can I realign with them? And the last is, how can I be more vulnerable with myself and others to foster deep emotional healing? These prompts encourage reflection on integration, connection, and emotional support, which are all critical components of reparenting. As always, thanks for being here. Take care of yourself and be well. And now let us move on to the final section, the meditation. This is an unguided meditation. I will simply provide some music and you can take some time to relax. Please feel free to choose a location and a place where you feel safe and where you can be undisturbed for the next 10 minutes. You can choose to be sitting down, standing, as you like, wherever you are most comfortable. Thank you for being here and enjoy the meditation.